Hey everyone, thank y'all for joining us for our beef brunch news update on Tuesday, November 11th. We finally had a little bit of a cold snap come through. So again, just as a reminder, we film these on Mondays. So this morning, Monday morning, I actually had a little bit of frost on my truck this morning getting in there. I had to turn the defroster on. I know it didn't quite hit freezing temperatures, I don't think, throughout the entirety of the state, but at least the north half, I think, kind of felt the cool temperatures hit. So we're going to go ahead and let Trip kick it off for us for the Northeast region.
Thank y'all very much for having me on again this week. Well, the cattle industry certainly has been a hot topic of conversation across the Northeast region and the whole state, but it's largely for things that are swirling around outside of the industry and the cattle markets and not things that are actually happening on the ranches because most everybody in North Louisiana is kind of settling into a wintertime pattern. We have a lot of producers that have already begun putting out hay. So that routine that never ends, you spend all summer picking it up and all winter putting it right back out, has commenced for a lot of our producers. There's still guys that have got a little bit of pickings that are trying to drag their feet as long as they can putting out hay, but largely the growth from our summer forages has waved the white flags. There's still a bit of green out there that people are trying to capitalize on, but any substantial growth is well beyond or well past us, and we're moving our grazing focus to our winter grasses like ryegrass, wheat, oat, triticale, our small grains. Um, the photo period has just shut our summer grasses down. We've reached the middle of November, coming into the middle of November, and the days are noticeably shorter. And whether you realize it or not, most all of our grasses and our crops are very susceptible to changes in the day length period. They're very photosensitive. So we've kind of reached the end of the life cycle there naturally from that standpoint. And then just like Dr. Edwards alluded to, this is recording this on November 10th. We had a decent little frost in many areas this morning, and we're expecting another good frost tonight. So that's going to go ahead and round out our summer grazing, and we're going to be really shifting gears kind of onto our normal winter routine. We have in the last couple of weeks gotten a small amount of rainfall in Northeast Louisiana. We had gotten bad dry. I mean, it was nearing critical levels as far as drought goes. We're about to start seeing some serious impact to some of our ryegrass acreage that had been planted. But we did get a timely rain that kind of put the gas pedal down on some of our winter grazing there. And we've got pretty good stands of grass up all over Northeast Louisiana. Our prepared ground is really doing what it's supposed to. You can see the difference in the prepared ground. The grass that just got slung out and scratched in a little bit. But guys that plan on prepared seed beds, they're going to be looking at getting on that sometime late December, January, assuming that we have favorable weather moving forward. So they're on time. I was worried coming into this season that we're going to be pretty bad behind, but people who plan on prepared seed beds are looking right about where they're supposed to right now. We actually have a few producers over on the eastern side of the state, over in the Delta, that are growing ryegrass on irrigated ground. And boy, they got a cheat code right there. They got some really good grass up and growing because they've been controlling the water on it. That's been the real limiting factor for us. So just hoping for some more favorable weather as we come into our winter grazing seasons. And another thing that we're keeping our eye on is fertilization prices. In the last couple of weeks, we've seen some pretty good jumps in both our mixed fertilizer and our just straight nitrogen fertilizers. So it's going to be important this year on timing your fertilization. You want to be able to get the most bang for your buck, and that really starts with a soil analysis. If you haven't performed soil analysis recently, reach out to your local extension agent, get us out there. Let's pull your soil sample. That way you're not guessing, because this year, even though we are experiencing great cattle prices, we can't be wasting profit by putting unnecessary fertilization out or not capitalizing and maximizing the effectiveness of our fertilization. So we're got one good frost this morning, looking at another one tonight. So we should be moving into time where we're going to start seeing some buggies running around, some people making a fertilizer applications. Like I said, just make sure you're getting the most bang for you buck that you can. Another thing that coming into this time of year brings with it is we are entering livestock showing season. So everybody involved with the LSU Ag Center is going to be some way involved with that. Just wanted to report that we had several kids from the Northeast region showing at the State Fair of Louisiana over the last couple of weeks. Did an excellent job representing the region. And it always makes me proud being there with these young producers and seeing them. That's the future of our industry right there. And those kids take it seriously. You know, we worry about the future of our industry all the time with the increasing age of the American cattle producer and wondering who it is that's going to take that torch and carry it on. But whenever you get to spend some time around these young guys, it incites a lot of optimism for the future of our industry. And guys, that is pretty well all I have for the Northeast region update. Dr. Edwards, I'm going to turn it back over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah, and Brittany, I'll pass it on to you.
Okay, thanks Ashley, and thanks Trip for a great update as always from the Northeast. So here in our area, we are expected to get at least dip below freezing for tonight's forecast, which by the time y'all are watching this, it will have been the night before. But we just want to make sure hopefully people are taking their precautions on that. Shouldn't get, you know, too far below freezing, but it'll get enough below for sure. With that, just thinking about the weather, we are still, Vince and I both live in Evangeline Parish, and we are still in a burn ban in this area. And I just checked, and I know Allen and Acadia parishes are still in a burn ban as well. So just want people to keep that in mind. You can always check on LDAF's website to see the burn ban map for those areas, because we are still pretty dry here. And then just looking at the forecast, it looks like throughout the rest of this week, we're not really expected to get any rain, but it does look a little more promising for next week's forecast. So, and of course that could change, right? Forecast weather changes all the time. But hopefully we'll see some rain, hopefully in that next week, and people can start maybe thinking about putting some nitrogen out on their ryegrass, because we do have some ryegrass that has been coming up in our area as well. We have, you know, several people that I've seen have started feeding hay in the area. So another good thing, if you haven't done so already, I know I've had several producers that I continuously work with who really want to know the quality of the hay that they're feeding. And that's just so important just from a nutritional standpoint. So you can make plans that your herd is getting the right nutrients, the right nutrition that they need for them to be able to stay in their ideal body condition score for where they are in that production cycle. So with that, of course, with doing a forage sample, it'll of course tell you a lot of things. Mainly we're looking at things like your crude protein, your TDN, and the digestibility, dry matter intake, things like that are really going to give us a bigger picture of what that looks like as far as what you're feeding. And then from there, you can, plan a little bit more as far as your supplementation program and what you need to do to get through that winter feeding period. Also important just to make sure that you have enough hay stored away to make it through the winter. With that, there's, a couple different ways you can calculate that. I'm not going to go through it, but I do know how to calculate it, because maybe at one time I didn't, but they told me how to do it. So yeah, with that, and then of course getting ready for those who have fall calving herds. They'll be getting ready to breed. So I think I had mentioned we did some breeding soundness exams at Dominique's in Opelousas a couple weeks ago. And of course, several large animal vets will do those as well, just to make sure that y'all are in the right place when your breeding season starts. And then we will be seeing those spring calving herds start calving soon. So just make sure that you have your supplies on hand and that you're ready for those situations when you start calving, in case there's any assistance needed and things like that. You just may want to be watching them a little more closely as we get closer to that period. But yeah, that's about all I have for our area. We're just again hoping we see some rain here next week and coming up soon. So I'll turn it back over to you, Ashley.
Thank you. Vince, we'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, well, thank y'all for having me this week. And as Tripp alluded to, we all participated at State Fair, and helping out with these junior livestock programs. And it's always good to see all the families and these junior kids that are the future of our economy and future of our industry for sure. And they're always enthusiastic. State Fair is always one that I always like to go to with my family, and it's a good result over there. The weather's changing. So when we talk about our quality of our forages, we had a front earlier last week, and some of you experienced that at State Fair. It was a little cooler than it was late part of the week. But we can see a difference in our forages. I mean, we've gone from a pale green to a yellowish, orangish on our warm season grasses, and it's last night, again recording this on Monday for Tuesday, but the weather came through on Sunday and into Monday morning, and tomorrow morning we'll have our first frost, which is about probably 10 days ahead of schedule for this part of the state. So people are really, everybody's commented on most of our producers are in their haystacks, and it's going to only putting out hay, and Tripp alluded to, you bale it, put it up, and take care of it all spring and summer to put it up and put it right back out. A lot of people have some that they baled since last spring and summer, and maybe they're fortunate that they have some carryover hay, because it's looks like we're going to have an early winter season. But as Brittany and both Tripp alluded to, ryegrass stands look pretty good. One of the passing fronts we had about 2 weeks ago brought isolated rain to the area of the amount of right around 2 inches in spots. So those that were fortunate enough to get that rainfall, the ryegrass looks really, really good, especially on the prepared seed bed. So the oversodded fields are you can't really notice it because the forages are still there from the summer and spring and summer grasses. So, but after tonight's frost, you'll be able to see the green up pretty quickly. So, the application of nitrogen was mentioned. It'll be time to do that. We talked about this the last beef brunch we did. Prices are on the increase and significantly on the increase. But don't shortchange yourself. I mean, it's still the most inexpensive way to supplement your cattle through the winter feeding period, the most efficient and effective way. So if you're gonna have to resort to hand feeding with bunk feeders or the actual hand labor, that is very costly. The price of bag feed hadn't gone down by any stretch, and the commodity market, those of us who follow it and watch that pretty closely and deal with some of our farmers in our communities, know that they're not getting the best bang for their buck on growing crops the last couple of years. So it's kind of agitating to the livestock producer when they know what commodity prices are, and bag feed is just astronomically high. But be conservative, and if you have that ryegrass stand out there, take care of it. Make sure it's going in the right direction when those rain chances present themselves. As Brittany mentioned, for our area later this week, we seeing that in the forecast, and through next week, 3 or 4 days. So hopefully we get some of that and keep that ryegrass growing, because it's very questionable right now. Because as Tripp alluded to, it's bad dry. Even though we got 2 inches in areas, it's bad dry right now, and the winds are blowing this afternoon. It's dew points are down in the low 20s or upper teens. So that doesn't take long to dry any kind of moisture out. We had a fog on Saturday that kind of helped things out. But long story short is, take care of that ryegrass. Plan to, here shortly, you might want to consider that application of 2,4-D at half pint per acre or so to get rid of that buttercup. So you get the best bang for your buck on that increasingly high price fertilizer. So you're not feeding the undesirables, if you would. So make sure that you're taking precautions in that area. Make sure bulls are checked and ready to go. There's several bull sales coming up. I know there's one in Mississippi, a Hereford sale this weekend at M4, Mr. Ron Malonso, and they have always a good selection of Hereford bulls. There's a bunch of those bulls in our territory that do quite well, because we're kind of in the same, if you would, lateral of where they coming from in Mississippi, and those Hereford bulls do really good in our area. So if you're needing bulls, those bulls are out there and available. So with that being said, it's keep the cows full when it's cold, and they got enough energy going, and make sure that those calves are hitting the ground and running. If they need extra care, make sure you can help them out if they need that. So it'll be peak of the calving season here before we know it.
I'm not sure what just happened? Okay, sorry. I don't know if I froze or not. So thank you, Vince. While I'm thinking about it, before I forget, I mentioned this, I believe, in the last news update, but as all of them are talking about winter supplementation and hay needs and all of those sorts of things, Lee, I don't know if that's your camera or if that's us on the hill farm, but you are glitching. So I don't know if it's going to stabilize or not. Lee, you might have to jump offices. I'm not sure. We do have multiple webinars associated with hay feeding, calculating hay needs, winter supplementation, all of those things. So if you go to our YouTube playlist for Beef Brunch webinars, you'll be able to scroll down last fall's series, I believe it was specifically on calculating hay needs and winter supplementation. I mentioned Vince's ryegrass grazing before. Dr. David Lawman from Oklahoma State has come on and talked about the most efficient ways to feed hay. That you have all of those resources on our webinars as well. And of course, as Brittany mentioned, you can reach out to us at any time and we'll be able to help you with that. Lee, it looks like everything has stabilized on your end, so I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Ashley. I make no guarantees about how long this connection will last. You know, only the best dial-up internet service for us. You know, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but anyway, let me start off again. Glad to be with you all here today. It's the first time I've been able to join live and in person, though I don't think it will enhance this report at all. But I'm very glad to be with you all. It's been a busy few weeks, busy couple of months. Rolled from one event right to another. It seems like just yesterday it was early September, and then we got started, and now here it is, approaching midway through through November, and wow, where is the time gone? But it's been, I can tell you where it's gone to. It's gone through a lot of quality events that we've had, a lot of really great things that the LSU Ag Center puts on related to beef, cattle, and forages and ag in general. And it's already been mentioned several times about the youth livestock shows, the State Fair, Louisiana. What a great use of time that is. What a great cause that is. I was really fortunate to see all the people that on this call, on this news update at the shows. And let me tell you, folks, I just witnessed how dedicated each and every one of them are to making sure that youth livestock shows come off flawlessly and with as much ease as possible. You know, it can be hectic. Those activities and events can be very hectic, and really relies on a lot of help there. And the folks on this news update are really professionals at it and do a really great job. Amongst others, there's a lot of others that take part in that as well. As far as the Northwest region, what's been going on the last couple of weeks, temperatures have been all over the place, hot, cold, still getting some respiratory illness. I talked to a producer the other day, bought in on a couple of loads of 6-weight steers and is having a time of it on respiratory illnesses. And that can be extended out to a lot of other producers and farms and whatnot. So keep watch on those cattle. We're not over the hump just yet. We're seeing these big 30, 40 degree swings in temperatures, and it just brings out the worst, the dust. We've talked about how dry it is. Tris mentioned a little bit of rain, Vince as well. Brittany, I think, alluded to a little bit, but it's been powerful dry in the Northwest region as well. The farther east you go in our region, the more soil moisture you run into, but it's still pretty scarce as far as that goes. There are some areas around Red River Parish, DeSoto Parish, some parts of Sabine, maybe a little bit of Caddo that are powerfully dry right now. People continue to plant winter forages, though I dare say that we're over the hump as far as that goes. Got some people that have moved into more overseeding as far as that goes right now. These horses are to be the quality continues to go down on that. So I'm going to speed things up just a little bit because I noticed my camera feed glitching just a little bit, so I better get right to it. I don't know where to begin as far as markets go, folks. How do you talk about the last couple of weeks? If you listen to our last news update, I made an attempt at it. I'm not going to say a good attempt, but an attempt was made at kind of saying what's going on nationally. I'm not going to make as much of an attempt this time, folks, because it would take way too much time. But to surmise, there's been a few things played on the markets. Once again, we have some external factors that have no bearing on market fundamentals. Social media posts by some politicians that continue to have an impact on the markets. We've seen some limit up days as far as the futures markets. We've seen some limit downs. We've seen some encouraging news in and of the fact that it seems like
Ready.
Okay, we had a minor glitch in the Hill Farm internet system. So Lee has jumped offices and is going to continue the market report here.
Well, thank you. I certainly don't think it's worth this much trouble, but I'll jump into it as far as that goes. I don't know where we messed up at, but I'll just say that, these external factors, the fact that these social media posts by politicians really has proved to be a deciding factor on some of the directions of the future market, though it hadn't affected the cash market quite the way we maybe thought it would. The cash market is down generally, depending on how you look at it, though. USDA did announce that they're going to continue to hold off allowing Mexican cattle to be imported. That's a huge factor on as far as the market goes, and that goes against the will of some organizations, some groups of cattle feeders and whatnot that rely on those imported cattle to fill those pens with. So there is some forces at work there that maybe not make everybody happy. How about that? Let's see, as far as the other, and that's due to the New World screwworm threat, folks, if you didn't already know and everything. So we'll jump into the markets though, and we'll report it as I see it. Once again, these are self-reported prices, and the data's pretty low on this one as well. It's been the second report in a row that's been like this, but I'll just tell y'all what we came up with, and you can judge by for yourselves exactly what to do there. So this is time period October the 27th through November the 10th. These are the average of prices on 500 to 600 pound steers. Average of the prices paid was $2.94 per pound to $3.89. 5 to 6 weight heifers, $2.86 per pound to $3.51. And cull cows, $1.34 to $1.62. Cull bulls, $1.59 to $1.92. Bred cows, the average of the high prices paid was $3,412.50. And the average of the high prices paid on pairs was $3,575. I'm not going to report the percent changes because last news updates market report was so weak that I don't feel like the numbers will be exactly accurate. Final thing I'll wind up with as far as markets go is it's been talked about a little bit about bull sales. We've gotten reports in on several local bull sales, local to Louisiana, local to Northwest Louisiana, and it's been very promising for the bull producers. These bull prices are creeping up there, folks. It takes a lot to develop these bulls. A lot goes into it, especially to develop a quality product, and so the prices have been very very good for the bull producer. Seeing some averages running in the 9,000 range on some Brangus bull sales, same with Angus. So they got to protect these investments. We spent a lot of time on these beef brunches talking about bulls. We've got some webinars out there on bulls, and we got to protect our investment, folks. So this bull market is pretty hot right now, and it's going to be interesting to see what the cattle market in general does for the next month or two leading up into the new year. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lee. So to touch on that as well, Dr. Guidry has been providing, I think he's been doing it about monthly, but some cattle market updates. And so we have gone in and worked with communications to kind of redo our marketing and economics page. So I have that linked in our video description here, but also if you go to lsuagcenter.com/beef cattle, you can click on the marketing and economics topic and you'll see the different reports and things that we have there. So he's got one, the latest one was October 21st, that's linked onto that site. In terms of other events, this Friday, the 14th, Lanie Richard is hosting an Acadiana homesteading workshop. So it's gonna be some beekeeping, gardening. I'm forgetting what the other major topic was. I think backyard poultry as well. I've got that registration and information listed. It's again this Friday, the 14th from 8:30 to 12:30 in Blackham Coliseum there in Lafayette. On Monday, December 1st, that afternoon from 1 to 4 p.m., Mr. Tyler Barlow has a backyard grower workshop along with some of the other agents there in Beauregard and I think Vernon Parish. There's more information at the Beauregard Parish Extension Office. That number's listed, as well as the registration link there. And then I've mentioned before, but the first Friday of December, so it'll be Friday, December 5th, is our Louisiana Forage Conference. We'll start arriving around 8 a.m. with the vendor show or exhibitors there. The speakers are going to start at 9 and we'll roll until 3 o'clock. You can register online. I think it's, I don't remember what the registration fee is. I think it's like $25 to be a member and pay for your registration. But that link is provided as well. Thank you. I know everybody's mentioned State Fair. As they've all said, spent a couple of weeks out there off and on. It's always a blast to work any of the livestock shows, but State Fair is especially fun. So thank you to all the agents and the volunteers that helped make all of that possible for us to be able to do it. I know agents were bouncing between sheep and goats and pigs and cattle and poultry and everything. And the weather fluctuated. I think we froze the first week a little bit and then we're sweating by the time we left with the Brahmins this past Saturday. But it's always a blast to see everybody. Appreciate seeing everyone from throughout the state for both the junior and the open shows. So thank you all for everyone, as they've said, that has made that possible for those exhibitors. Also, part of that was selection of the exhibitors to go to the to Louisville to show for our sheep and our cattle. So congratulations to all of those exhibitors. They're going to be traveling to Louisville this week to exhibit both their market lambs and then all the cattle that were selected on that. So that's one of or two of our educational trips that our 4-Hers are able to apply and qualify for. So safe travels and hope you all have lots of fun and good luck up there in Louisville. And then the final note on my end, I was opening up YouTube earlier to look at previous news updates and webinars and saw some of the comments and the likes on our videos. And so just thank you to listening and making it worth doing this every other week, and appreciate the comments. Not sure about the one that they especially appreciate Lee and the favoritism shown there, but thank y'all. We appreciate y'all. Continue to reach out. Let us know if there's anything that we're missing on these that we can start to add into our bi-weekly news updates. So with that, we'll see y'all again in just a couple of weeks.